Hi everyone, Savannah Tree Foundation Field Manager Jake Henry here, and I'm doing another video today on tree rings. We did a workshop on this a few months ago, and this is just one of those topics that I really love talking about. So I'm going to do a quick video today. It won't be a full workshop, but if this is interesting to you, please go back and look at that workshop. Lots of really cool biology that goes into tree rings. But today I'm just talking a little bit about the basics. So many people know that tree rings tell you the age of the tree, and that's true in most cases. There are actually some exceptions to that, but typically a ring will be formed every year. Now sometimes you can get false rings in situations of drought. A tree will actually create an extra ring. Now you might be asking, well, why does it do that? Well, first we have to know what a ring actually is. So we can see here I've got a little piece of pine here, just a little offcut from a project I was working on, and we can see the lighter wood here, and then the rings make up this darker wood. So the light portion is actually called early wood, so that's portions of the wood that is grown earlier in the year or early in the growing season. And then there's the darker portion, which is called the late wood, and that is what's made later in the year. There are a lot of environmental cues that tell trees to start slowing down, that it's, time to be dormant. And one of those can actually be drought. So like I said, the tree may shut down and form some of that late wood because it might be getting signals that it should be shutting down when it might not actually be the right time of year. So that's kind of a fun little explanation on, how the rings are made. And the size is actually really important too, and that's one of the things I wanted to emphasize today. So you can see here the rings are a pretty good size here. So this tree was doing a lot of growing each year. This isn't near the center really. The center was probably about here. So this tree was doing a lot of good growth each year. Now this is from a pine tree, probably a loblolly if I had to guess. Pine trees are grown very fast nowadays because people want to create lots of wood very quickly. And so as a result of that, they have these larger rings. Now as a comparison, I have another pine species here with me today. It's not loblolly. This is longleaf pine actually. And we can see a really drastic difference here in the size of the rings. So this is really cool. This is what you call old growth longleaf. So this longleaf had been growing for a really long time. This was probably from at least a 200-year-old tree. And as trees get older and older, they grow much more slowly. So every year, they're just putting on very small increments of growth. And so as a result, you get these really dense ring patterns from these older trees. Now, it can actually be a good thing. This late wood is actually more dense than the early wood, the lighter portion. So if you have a higher proportion of that late wood, it's actually stronger wood. It's more dense, can be a little bit more rigid. Now that's, can be a good thing when we're talking about trees and hurricanes. We want a tree that's resilient and strong, and it's going to be a good bit stronger than this pine tree was. So that's, one of the ways. It's not just how many rings a tree has, but the size of the rings and the proportion of those dark rings, that late wood, can really make a big difference on the structural integrity of a tree and the wood that results from that tree. So just a fun little fact on tree rings. There's a lot more we can talk about, and if you liked it, let us know. We'll talk more about tree rings. Thank you all so much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos. Take care.